link. You need the YouTube link.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I completely forgot that I still have to do that embedding. It's only part of the link, though.
That's
streaming.
what I have. Nope. Is that right?
So we should all tune into this.
That's not right. That's right. Nope. Is that right?
So
Did you send it to me specifically, or is it in chat somewhere?
I did not send it to you.
Okay. So I think I just
It's
do
in chat.
that and hit save.
Did it work?
I believe so. Is anybody on the
I can
page?
go and look.
An error occurred. Please try again later. That's not great.
All right, so we are streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I will view on YouTube. We are live. So
is that just your channel?
yeah, that's my channel. The one below it, sorry.
Yes,
the one
I
you
see
actually
it now.
want.
That makes sense. So now I hit save. I refresh.
Boom.
And there we are.
And there we are. Look at that.
Yes.
Ah, there we go. It was paused for me. Okay.
Yeah. Is it working? Can you hear it?
It's working.
Fantastic.
There's a chat functionality on BackerKit also.
Oh, there is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, that's really cool.
That is cool. All right, but we're
We
live,
are.
so I should probably kick
Yeah,
us
you
off. Well, good afternoon. I guess it's really whatever time zone you're in. Welcome to Battle Mage Farmer Tales of the Ecclesia. This is our kickoff stream where we're gonna do a little meet and greet with the team, talk about the project, talk about some of our creative process, and our hopes and dreams for this campaign. So first thing we wanted to do before we get started or dive into anything is do just a little round robin around the table or virtual chat and have everybody introduce themselves. So I'll kick it off. Hi, my name is Jeremy Stark. I am the operations manager at Zero Strategy Games. Some things I've done in the past, worked on Cutthroat Cove Pieces of 8 back in 2021. Quick little card game that we kickstarted and funded a couple years ago. And I've been playing D&D for, I guess, about 10 years now. I've learned it in college from my friend Richard. I told him I'd name drop him today, so there it is. And, you know, I've been playing on and off ever since, but gotten into D&D, some Fate, and the Alien RPG, most recently GMing that. That's a little bit about me, and I'll pass it off to Kyle.
So how's it going? I'm Kyle Talbert. I'm lead game designer on this project. I also have a degree in game design. I too have, been playing D&D for about 10 years, introduced to it in college. Same guy, Richard. Appreciate you, man. But yeah, I've just been GMing and stuff and doing multiple campaigns on and off over the years just for friends. And it's cool to, come together and kind of put something into writing this way. It's definitely a different experience whenever you have to, show it to other people and have other people understand as opposed to my own scatterbrain ideas. But it's been a really fun experience, fun involvement. It's nice to make games and experiences for people. So I'm excited for this.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Luke, you're next.
Hey guys, I'm Luke Schwenger. I am also a lead game designer here at Zero Strategy Games, though not for this project. I've also done a fair bit of TTRPG, both as a player and as a GM, though I don't know Richard, so there's no relation there. But yeah, I got in initially at 3.5 and played for a long time, and eventually decided to start doing custom campaigns and GMing them myself, and eventually got to know these guys and got looped into this project, and I'm very excited for this as well. So it's great to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke. Andrew, you're up.
All right. I'm Andrew Givler on the internet. I'm also maybe better known as Sigils. I'm a YouTuber and author, and I got sucked into this. I don't know Richard at all either, so we're 50-50 so far. I got sucked into this because I befriended Seth, and he was like, "Hey, what if we helped authors make games from their books?" And I was like, "What a weird intersection of the things that I like." And now we're here. And I don't really do a lot except that sometimes I show up and I say like, what if it was D&D? And then I leave and other people have to figure that out. So I'm super excited about this project. I think we've come up with something really cool and special, and I think people are going to enjoy it.
All right, thanks, Andrew. And last but not least, Seth.
Hi, everybody. I'm Seth. I also don't know Richard. He sounds like a cool guy, though. So if he wants to come and play some games, that'd be awesome.
Shout out to Richard.
I wrote a book called Domestication in the series Battle Mage Farmer, and it is now being turned into a D&D module, and this is like a dream come true. So I'm here as the author for this series. I'm also involved in ZSG, which I'm really excited about, but I'm here mainly as the author of Battle Mage Farmer, and now a participant in this really cool D&D module. Oh, and I've been playing D&D for like 20-some years. So
Thanks, everyone, for introducing. I also realized I think I was the only one who didn't say I'm also really excited for this project, so I am also really excited for this project. But thanks, everyone, for your intros. For Luke and Andrew, I know you guys got a couple other things. Thanks for hopping on and saying hello. But you're free to drop if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Thanks. You
Okay.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So now that you've met the team a little bit, and who does and does not know Richard, I want to go a little bit into Zero Strategy Games. So this might be the first time you're hearing of us. We just started back in January, so that's pretty recent. But we've been working hard to get this project ready for launch April 9th. We have two main things that we like to target, and obviously the TTRPGs. We've made this module or adventure based on Seth's book, Battle Mage Farmer. And that's what we're kicking off with. And we also are working on some board games. So you might have seen Shuffle Dungeons come up every once in a while. But that's the next project that we're engaging on. Also super excited for that, because I guess we got to say that every time. And that'll be coming later. But those are kind of our two different lines that we're working on. And our main goal is really just to create fun and unique experiences that bring people together. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, any game got to be fun, drilled into our heads, drilled into our company, creative process. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So making things fun, and then obviously unique. We want to make memorable experiences, not just another game that goes on your shelf and you never touch it again. But last and not least, Seth is a great example that we want to work with indie authors. Right now, our first campaign here, working with Seth as part of the company, but also as an author here with us today. Our plan in the future is to work with other indie authors and continue bringing their worlds that they've created to the table through TTRPGs and board games. So that's a little bit about us. Kyle or Seth, anything you want to touch on that I may have missed?
I think you did pretty well.
I think that's a pretty good summary of what we're trying to do as Zero Strategy Games.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, then without further ado, I'll turn it over to Seth, the man of the hour, to give a high-level overview of what is Battle Mage Farmer. Some of you may know, some of you might be following us because of ZSG, but, that's what we're here for.
So Battle Mage Farmer is sort of the answer to my question of what would a fantasy post-apocalyptic world look like. And I had this sort of fleeting thought that ended up becoming kind of the tagline for the series, which is, what happens when you have a battle mage trying to retire, in this case, to a farm, but the only magic he knows is Fireball. And that was sort of my guiding question. And as I started writing this series, it really resonated with a lot of people. And the world sort of sprang up pretty naturally around this main character, and it became this sort of living and breathing thing for a lot of the fans. And so this has felt like just such a natural fit for it. The story takes place in the valley, which is kind of unnamed, but it takes place on a farm and just sort of explores what happens when somebody who has lived through decades of apocalyptic war tries to slow down a little bit. And we've taken that same exact setting and we have brought new characters to it through through this module, through the pre-made characters that we have here. It's sort of a classic D&D setting already, though, because in this world there are class holders, people who get specialized skills and abilities based on classes that they inherit and their interaction with mana. But at the same time, the mana that they use to power their abilities and spells is slowly increasing and poisoning the world. And so life is becoming harder and harder, even as people leverage the mana that, that's slowly killing them to be able to live. And so it creates this really cool tension and this sort of catch-22 of like, if we want to survive, we have to use our abilities, but if we want to keep the world from getting worse, we need to reduce the amount of mana in the environment. So the characters, like I said, that we're introducing are pretty new, but we do have some holdovers from the series, which I'm really excited about. That was one of the things that I was really pumped that we were able to do that as part of this module. Not just making it a completely clean break, but having a couple of people who are involved in both the books that I wrote and in the module itself. And then I also had the really cool opportunity to write a novella around these characters that we've introduced. And after writing the novella, I keep thinking about other things I could write with those same characters. The characters are fantastic, and it's been really cool to see this world fleshed out in that way, to add more story, more lore to it. And then also, just the thought that people could interact with it through a game like D&D. One of the things about just sort of my writing process in general is that I run a subscription service so people can read ahead, and I love taking readers' feedback and incorporating it into my stories. And so I have a very collaborative way of writing already, and this just feels like such a natural next step for bringing more people into the story. And I even have some ideas in the back of my head for how I might be able to grab some of the stories that people end up telling through this module and start including them as canon in the actual series. But more on that another time.
All right. Well, thank you, Seth. That was a great introduction. And I know I already have thoughts on turning your novella into another D&D adventure. It's going to be a vicious cycle. You write something, we make an adventure, we make an adventure, you write a book.
And that's exactly,
it's going to be an endless cycle.
And it's just worth noting that we're hoping that I'm the first of many, right? We're hoping to have the same kind of relationship with many other authors to build these same kinds of really fun interactive modules that people who are already fans of a particular IP can sink their teeth into.
Absolutely. All right. So then, Kyle, why don't you take it away and dive into, our creative process and how we developed these characters in this adventure that we put together?
Sure. So, like I said before, I've been playing D&D and GMing for a long while. So I always love to just think of these big, expansive kind of ideas, and just make an adventure that just kind of goes on and on and on. And so we kind of kept this true with this adventure, not being like a true one-shot or anything. Like this adventure could span over the course of, a few different sessions, which I personally think that just makes it more fun. You're more engaged with it. You kind of keep the story going, and it's not just like a kind of one-off thing, which can still be fun, of course. But I think just sticking true to a source material like Battle Mage Farmer has been a fun experience because obviously, I get to read the books and I get to experience what's going on just through the world as it is, and then kind of take this angle of here's something else that is happening in this world, much like Seth said, just having different lore or different stories that kind of bring these types of things to life, I guess. It just kind of breathes new life into it. So it's been really fun working on this project, and especially with making these characters. So I had made these characters with just kind of these general ideas, and then I fleshed out backstories and personality traits and things. I wanted this to be kind of easily accessible for people. So, pre-generated characters with just, personalities that kind of fit into the world, kind of show how they interact with the world could be, a great way to introduce yourself to it as well. So making these backstories and everything, and then Seth working on the novella. I've purposely not read the novella in any capacity. I didn't even want to know anything because I didn't want to spoil anything because I just know that I would start talking, and I did not want to spoil anything at all. But I'm so excited to kind of see these characters, come to life on the page as well, because I worked with Seth back and forth, and he kept true to the things that I wrote about the characters, and it's just, I don't know, it's just nice. It's just a nice back and forth to see things, come together. But yeah, so for this adventure, there are things that happen in the series which you don't necessarily have to read to be able to have fun with this adventure. Would you be able to get more out of it if you did read? I would say so, of course. But we wanted to kind of stick things in this valley setting, as Seth said, is kind of the main place where this farm, is there, and there's bandits around. There's different things. There's this whole ecosystem of life happening in this valley that's kind of separated in a way from the world. So basically, you have these characters who all meet together under a common goal. They're summoned to the valley to, take care of something that's happening. Which I don't know. I guess we kind of want to leave that as a surprise a bit. But yeah, so all the characters come together with a common goal to, figure out what's going on and obviously solve the problem. Mm-hmm. So in a way, we could introduce characters from the series as well to, be in places that you could possibly find them and interact with them. And I think that's cool as well. Being able to know about these characters and then, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with this character, right? Like, I don't know, there's something exciting about that, about, oh, I love this character, and now I'm playing an adventure, and I'm able to interact and, kind of like see their personality and have my personality go with them. I don't know, it's very exciting stuff for me. But yeah, so going along with mechanics and things, we wanted to introduce mechanics that are also inherent in this world. As Seth had mentioned, there's the use of mana, and the different ways that people use mana could be toxic to the environment and kind of bring on this ever increasing sense of doom. So with that, we introduced two mechanics. There are mana feats and doom points. So mana feats kind of work as a powerful ability that you can use, right? You have limited uses, per rest, and some of the abilities that you could use are obviously very strong. But with that kind of comes a take back. There's a give and take with it. You can use these powerful abilities, yet they will increase the amount of impending doom, or they increase the doom points that go along throughout the adventure. So it's kind of a give and take of, do I want to use these powerful abilities to help us get through this, or maybe even just survive? But hey, if we use these, too much, what could happen? Who's to say? So I think it's really fun and unique to bring in mechanics from the world and kind of make them for use in this adventure, and even truly you could use these things in other adventures, right? It's very plug and play kind of thing, which I think we enjoy making content, as we said, that can span beyond even what we're just doing with it, right? Like people can take this and put it into their own campaigns and adventures and still have fun with it and still have it work for them. Is there anything I missed?
I'd love I'd love for you to talk a little bit about why we chose the level that we did for the players.
Right.
If we can talk, I think that's okay to talk about. But
yeah, we can talk about it a bit for sure. So for this adventure, this is based on level 8 characters. And the reasoning behind that was, a lot of people start their adventures in, any kind of TTRPG setting. In the first couple levels, some people think, like this is kind of a slog. I'm just, hitting goblins and I'm missing all the time. And I'm like, man, when do I get my cool abilities? Right. And so I think around like levels 4 and 5, right, you start to get more of your increases. Obviously, levels 2 and 3, you kind of get specializations into what your characters kind of fit into more. You kind of have more of an identity with your character in that way. And so bringing it up even a bit more to 8 with the way we use mana feats as well. You get a mana feat of your choice at every 4 levels. So, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. You also have your, ability increases at 4 and 8. So it's just kind of a step up in power that isn't just on the verge of like, oh, I'm starting to become powerful. It's like these characters and the characters that you can make for this adventure already kind of have a set power. They're not really learning how to use their abilities. They kind of already know in a way. And so that way you can kind of jump into the adventure just thinking, wow, like I'm powerful. I have these things that I can do.
And that actually, I feel like, really goes along with the ethos of the series, which is people get to do cool things. The main character obviously gets to do the most cool things, but all of the characters get to do cool things. And we wanted to kind of capture that feel. So, yeah, I think it was a great choice on Kyle's part to say, hey, let's bump this up and let's start this a little bit further along. And I want to say, it's been so fun to work collaboratively on a project like this and have that back and forth and have that, the ability to say, hey, what do we think about these ideas? How do we capture these feelings that people talk about when they read the books and then get them into this D&D module, to make sure that the feeling is consistent whether you're in the world through the books or the novella or this D&D module, it's all consistent. So I think that's a really cool, really cool piece.
Yeah, I think that's been a really good experience too. Because I know just a lot with story and mechanics and stuff. I was going to you a lot back and forth. I was like, hey, would this work? Like, do you think that this would work? And sometimes you'd be like, no, I don't think that would exactly work in this because of this. I'm like, okay, like great. Like I want to make sure, I mean, even for this and just projects going forward, like we want to make sure that the author or the creator of the content, right, that we're making things for feels like this is their thing too. Like this is very much their adventure and story and world and lore that obviously they've put so much time and effort into is realized in a realistic and still fun way.
Awesome.
All right.
If
there's anything else you guys can think of?
No, I think that's good. I'll just jump into our next section then, which is talking a little bit, diving into a little bit about the campaign itself. Obviously, it's all the information's there on the page, so I'm not gonna dive into it too much. But I've posted a couple Easter eggs around that, I always like showing off the prototypes and showing off like the physical things that we're promoting. So like one of the things I have here is, the Battle Mage Farmer hollow, I always mess up the word, hollow book dice tower. There it is. Which I think is great. I love it, and it's nice solid wood, laser cut, and then you just open it up and it becomes a dice tray and a dice tower. I also love how it smells. I know Kyle will make fun of me for that, but just the
Yes, I will.
the nice like smoky wood smell is amazing. I also have the poster hanging up behind me, which I also think looks great. I wish it was a little bit easier, bigger and easier to show. And then obviously, last but not least, we have one of our prototypes for it. This is a draft cover. We're still working with our designer to finish it up, but the art is good to go, and the text is probably not going to change significantly. But again, just having these things in your hand when you're creating a game, like a board game or a TTRPG, it just feels great to actually physically feel the thing. It takes it to like a whole another level of, no, like we actually made this. It's not a concept anymore. It's here. And Seth, I know I can't see your screen. I should have asked you. Do you have the Furry plushie nearby
yes.
that you can show
Let me
that
grab
as well?
that.
Okay. I meant to ask that ahead of time, but just going through those and
Yeah, sorry, I should have had that
you know,
ready at hand.
No
But
worries.
we picked up a Furry plushie, and he's fantastic. As soon as I opened the box when these came, the both of my daughters looked at Furry and then looked at me and were like, "Is it mine?" One of them's 12, one of them's 3. They both desperately wanted it, and I said, "No, I'm gonna keep it." So I've been snuggling him in my office.
very nice.
Yeah. No, but it has just been really cool seeing this whole project come together. It's been really fantastic. And I mean, we're not even we're not even an hour into it, and the campaign is already going well. Like, it's cool to see people rallying around it. Yeah.
Absolutely. The only other thing I want to jump into then is just briefly talking on some of the stretch goals. And again, all the information's there, but talking about why we're excited about it. I really love the first one, the detailed NPC notes. I think that will make this game extremely accessible for people who haven't read Battle Mage Farmer. That was one of our requirements going into making this project. Is we want to do true to the series, like we've talked about, but we also don't want this to be inaccessible for people who don't know the series. So adding that stretch goal and some of the other ones, adds additional content, will increase the overall quality of our print and all that stuff. They're all great, excited for them. Hope we hit them. That would be amazing. Yeah. But check those out, and for sure we hope we hit a lot of those. The last thing I just want to talk on then before we wrap up is what comes next for the campaign. This was our kickoff. Again, we're really happy with how it's going so far. I'm glad we could get the whole team together and do a quick little hello to everyone. But a couple of things that I want everyone to be aware of and excited for as the campaign progresses. One, we'll be revealing the novella. Got some artwork on that this morning, and it looks fantastic. Really excited for that.
It looks so good.
Yes, it does. It does amazing work. And then we're also planning on doing a virtual playthrough. Seth will be leading that. Obviously, we can't give too much away, so it won't be the whole way through. But even just starting the beginning part of it, where I guess spoilers, they're entering the valley, and there's a lot of interesting interactions with the different characters. So the setting to the scene. And we'll also be doing polls throughout the campaign, some for this project specifically, but we also want to make sure, for this project, and, we've talked about our goals for the future, that we're investing our time and energy into what matters to you. If you like a specific thing, we'll ask that, and we'll make sure we add that specific thing going forward. You don't like a specific thing, we won't waste our time on it. So we'll have a couple of different, milestones throughout the campaign to keep people engaged. But with that is, I think, everything we had. Any last words from anyone before we sign off?
If you have any questions about any of this, let us know. You can either leave a comment on the video, or you can hit me up on socials, or you can hit the Zero Strategy Games socials. Definitely, I think they're on the screen here. That way. Check them out. Sign up.
Yes.
Follow us. Do all the things. Yeah.
Thank you. Good
I think
send off.
that's it.
Yeah.
Super excited. For
You can
this.
tell who streamed before and who
Just
hasn't.
so excited. So excited for this, though.
Yes.
This has been a
Yeah.
long time coming, and I've been talking to people in my audience for a long time about TTRPG stuff around my series, and so this is just a real dream come true to see it, and it's been an incredible delight to work with the Zero Strategy Games team to make this a reality.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more.
Sweet.
All right. Then without further ado, I think that's it for us. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.